all my dear friends. As usual, this beautiful sign, Namaste, and more than as usual, all my eternal, absolute best wishes for all of you. Our eternal, timeless prayer, Sarvetra Sukhina Santu. This evening we have come together to be happy, to celebrate a deeply historic moment. As per common era, the date was June 6, 1674, when Shivaji Maharaj the Great was coronated on Fort Raigad in Maharashtra. Today, this is 350th anniversary of that great historic Shivrajyabhishek. Many historians and equally many thinkers, political activists, leaders in different walks of life, they have unanimously described the historic significance of this common era date of June 6, 1674, the coronation of Shivaji Maharaj, the Shivrajyabhishek. And the best way to put this historic significance is to say that we are all here today as proud, independent, sovereign Bharatiya. We are here today, crossing 75 years of our independence and our republic, that we exist, that Bharat exists, that Bharatiya Sanskriti continues to exist, continues to enrich because Shivaji Maharaj happened. Because there was Shivrajyabhishek on this common era date of June 6, 1674. We as Bharatiya, we were not following the common era calendar then. We had actually a more scientific calendar. I will right now not go into science, but the point is this was Jyeshtha Shuddha Trayodashi of the Shake era that we say, then that year was 1596. 350th year of coronation of Shivaji Maharaj. One major architect of modern Maharashtra, who also was a very important leader of all India. At a point of time, he was Deputy Prime Minister of India. None other than Yashwantrao Chauhan said that we exist today because Shivaji Maharaj happened. In his own very simple and transparent fashion, he gave his historical analysis and historical perception of the importance of this movement. He said, had Shivaji Maharaj not happened, the frontiers of Pakistan would have touched our homes, crossed into our homes. The simple meaning is, whatever is described as Bharatiya civilization would not exist. That is Shivaji Maharaj, and that glorious chapter of history of Bharat, the chapter that is known as history of Marathas. Even my description of history of Marathas is Marathas for Bharat. My mind keeps going back to the date my UPSC interview took place. and the interview panel sitting there. We used to have two optional subjects, one of which was history. There was a very eminent historian sitting there on my panel. Not only that he is eminent historian, he is eminent historian of the Mughals, the Mughal period. So as my UPSC interview progressed, he asked me, what if Shivaji lived another 10 years? They of course don't address Shivaji Maharaj as Shivaji Maharaj. For those who glorify Mughals, those who glorify invaders, and they were brutal, fanatic invaders, but they come to be glorified, and Shivaji Maharaj comes to be projected as some sort of regional, small-time, feudal saranjamdar. This is the description by Ramchandra Guha, who passes for some eminent historian. The one sitting on my panel was not Ramchandra Guha, but his question was, what if Shivaji lived another 10 years? I was very happy to smile. This is a very almost a mandatory question for all candidates, especially coming from Maharashtra. Some or other question on Shivaji Maharaj and the history of Marathas. So this eminent historian, who continues to be eminent even today, who I repeat is the historian of Mughals, his question to me was, what if Shivaji lived another 10 years? I was happy to say, sir, Marathas would have reached Delhi and Shivaji Maharaj would have coronated himself as the emperor, the Samrat, the Chakravartin of Bharatvarsh. He would not have allowed Mughals to continue to rule Bharat. That was my answer way back in 1986. In fairness, one may say that the panel seems to have taken it in the right spirit because I got absolutely outstanding marks. Historic fact remains, the legacy of Shivaji Maharaj. Shivaji Maharaj is the nation builder. Not like Ramchandra Guha or another historian Satish Chandra who demeans the history of Marathas, including Shivaji Maharaj, who presents Marathas as some sort of Marwaders who went through different corners of India only to register and collect loot. Look at the distortion of history. Those invaders, beginning with, you can say, Muhammad bin Qasim, 8th century, Mahmud of Ghaznavi, 10th and 11th century, Muhammad Ghori, late 12th and early 13th century, and Babar, and Ahmad Shah Abdali, they are glorified as having enriched the Indian civilization. And Shivaji Maharaj and Marathas who fought for Bharat went to all lengths and breadths of Bharatvarsh. And for like 150 years, the Maratha sword stood for Bharatvarsh. And the historians like Satish Chandra and Ramchandra Guha present them as if these were some regional, small-time, feudal landlords who gathered some sort of great strength. What a distortion, what a misrepresentation. Shivaji Maharaj is the nation builder. The vision Shivaji Maharaj gave to Maharashtra and to the entire India was to liberate Bharatvarsh from brutal, fanatic invaders and rulers who were tyrannizing people, torturing people on every ground, including religious ground. So Shivaji Maharaj stands up, and Shivaji Maharaj and Maratha history is the history of glorious fight back of Bharatiya Sanskriti. Shivaji Maharaj is nation builder for us even today. When we study history, everyone may experience some chapter of history, some moment, some incident. It seems like you have deep, personal, even genetic or even epigenetic memories of those moments. You feel like you were personally there when this event unfolded. It's a hair-raising experience, and you remember those moments. They are here in the present, and there are goosebumps. My connection with such moments in history brings me to that moment when Shivaji Maharaj was coronated on Raigad, the common era date of June 6, 1674, our Sanskritic cultural date of Jyeshtha Shuddha Trayodashi of Shake era 1596. I am happy to share with you that I personally feel I was there. As a common foot soldier, Mawla as it is called in Marathi language, as the common foot soldier of Shivaji Maharaj, paying my respect to Shivaji Maharaj, and with tears of happiness looking at that historic moment of coronation of Shivaji Maharaj. And what a fight back of Bharatiya Sanskriti. We need to understand that on the entire background of history of Bharat. Whatever some, including for want of any other word, I have to use the term leftist historians. I call them the Romila Thapar school of history. They and the colonial, European, imperialist historians project and present as if there is no India apart from the name for a geographic territory. They continue to say there never was any India. One of the best expression comes from Winston Churchill, who says there is no sense in saying India. India is only a territory. It's like saying Europe. The colonial historians of Indian history distorted and presented this to us. And then some, including the ideologically leftist Marxist historians of Indian history, bought it and continued it after independence. But India tha, Bharat tha, Bharat hai, or Bharat rahega. The idea of India is absolutely there, figuratively speaking, since time immemorial. The concept of oneness of Bharatvarsh. And there is lot of diversity which we welcome. Still we are one. In political terms, there has always been a concept of the Chakravartin of Bharatvarsh. Different rulers in different areas would always look forward to emerging as the Chakravartin of Bharatvarsh, and it would be our cultural expression of, say, Rajasuya Yajna or Ashwamedha Yajna. So different kings and kingdoms would accept, and then this particular king would emerge as the sovereign, the Chakravartin of Bharatvarsha. Idea of Bharat has always been there. One of the best expressions is the very conscious name I picked up for my educational work, Chanakya Mandal Parivar. That the Greeks under Alexander were heading towards Bharat, and the most powerful power at that point of time, the Nandas at Patliputra and Chanakya as a bureaucrat in their darbar. Chanakya had this vision to understand that here is an invasion coming our way, And the responsibility to stop that invasion as the most powerful empire was with Nanda's idea of Bharat. Even if we take a sort of cursory look, or let me say bird's eye view of the history of Bharat, especially in last 2400 years, we will see repeated invasions of Bharatvarsh. But until 8th century, we will also see that all pre-8th century invaders came but adopted, internalized Bharatiya Sanskriti and became a part of Bharatiya Sanskriti themselves. So if Greek invaders came in, Alexander per se was not able to capture even one small northwestern part of Bharat. But there is a certain Heliodorus who becomes devotee of Vishnu, changes his name also to Vasudev and assimilates with Bharatiya Sanskriti. And there is another Menander who gets so infatuated with Buddha philosophy and talking to his Buddha guru that Menander adopts Buddhism, takes the name Milinda, and a beautiful philosophic treatise of the discussion between Milinda and his guru Nagasen. It becomes this very important, profound philosophical treatise called Milinda Panna. Ditto for people known as Shaka. The anglicized name is Scythians. Kushan, again you can say anglicized or sort of Chinese name is Yuechis. And Huns, the ones who finally destroyed and annihilated the Roman civilization from the face of the earth. These invaders also came into India one by one. For some part of time, in some part of Bharatvarsh, they were able to create kingdoms, but over a period of time, they were first militarily defeated by Bharatiya rulers, and then were happily assimilated with Bharat, so much so that today we can never point out at some person, Bharatiya person, and say your predecessor must have been Greeks and your predecessors must have been Shaka, Kushan, Hun, etc. India, the civilizational melting pot who assimilates all of them and gives the message to the whole world. Concept of Bharatvarsha, one Bharat. In all its glorious diversity, that has always been there. Every time, in light of such invaders, someone or other stood up to fight for Bharatvarsha, to liberate Bharatvarsha. And then when this horrible chapter of history of Bharat begins in the effectively from 8th century, 714 Common Era, Muhammad bin Qasim fights and defeats Raja Dahir of Sindh. All these invasions are Islamic invasions. There is no question of building or spreading hatred for some or other sort of religion, philosophy, etc. Beginning Muhammad bin Qasim to creation of Pakistan, and even Pakistan sponsored terrorism or 3 wars we have had with Pakistan can be historically, qualitatively described as Islamic because the invaders invaded in the name of Islam. Greeks, Shaka, Kushan and Hun were not invading in the name of religion or you have to adopt my philosophy, you have to convert, you have to change your name and I'm going to brutally kill you, create a contemporary record how I killed like hundreds and thousands of kafirs and sold their women folk as slaves and destroyed their idols, and then historically proudly thump your chest calling yourself as Ghazi or Budh Shikan. These are all historic records. The invaders were invading in the name of Islam. And various Bharatiya civilizational forces stood up to them, fought hard. Shivaji Maharaj and history of Maratha is that glorious part of the fight, and it is a fight back. Shivaji Maharaj symbolizes re-establishment of the concept of Bharatvarsh. As these invasions and their brutality went on increasing, for initial almost 1000 years, it is the Rajputs who stood for Bharat and fought. And Maharana Pratap stands tall and stands tough. I will not accept Akbar as the ruler of Bharatvarsh because Turk tha, Turk hai, Turk rahega. He is foreign, he is invader, he is alien. He is not adopting and assimilating with our civilization. The legitimate rulers of Bharatvarsh, Rajputs, had not forgotten it. But the historic fact remains that after Haldi Ghati, Maharana Pratap continued his fight back, was able to establish freedom of Mewad and was able to recapture everything except Chittor. But then the Rajput resistance weakens. Mewad sort of accepts some sort of compromise with Mughals, and substantial number of Rajput rulers begin to side with Mughals. Think of Indian subcontinent, the peninsula, South India. Even modern journalists and anti-India forces like to describe this as India's north-south divide, which is not true at all. Alauddin Khilji descended into the south. Unfortunately, was able to capture deep into the south, and then followed by Muhammad Tughlaq. But then the response of South Bharat was kind of different from other parts of the country. South Indian rulers understood this common threat, that it's not just military invasion, it's not just for empire, this is an existential threat to even fundamentally who we are and our civilization. So they put their act together and enter the glorious history of Vijayanagar Hindu Samrajya, approximately between 1325 to 1335. From there on till 1565, for like 2.5 centuries, this glorious empire stood up. And Harihar Bukka, guided by Madhvacharya, the Shankaracharya of Srungeri, and also Madhvacharya's brother Sayanacharya, whose commentary on Vedas is still considered authentic. And the Vijayanagar Empire at its apex was even geographically bigger than Mughal Empire, way more glorious, even in material richness and creative achievements in different walks of life. But you see our history books and you will find a small 4-line paragraph on Vijayanagar Empire. One line out of those 4 lines may talk about Krishna Dev Raya, under whom Vijayanagar Empire reached its apex. Unfortunately, again, to our misfortune, there was Battle of Talikot, also known as Battle of Rakshas Tagdi, on the banks of Tungabhadra in Common Era 1565, and the southern Islamic rulers known as Bahmani rulers came together and defeated Vijayanagar Empire. My heart feels personally heavy and sad. Vijayanagar as a city then was world's most beautiful, world's richest, world's most prosperous city as described by many contemporary personalities throughout all these 2.5 centuries. That Vijayanagar was utterly annihilated, and the loot went on for about 6 months, 1565. So when Shivaji Maharaj is born, entire Bharatvarsha was subjugated under foreign, invading, brutal, fanatic Islamic rulers. Again, the term Islamic rulers is for a very simple historic fact, because most of them formally declared that their rule is Islamic rule. Non-Muslims do not have any sort of, forget fundamental rights and forget human rights and religious freedom and blah blah blah. The rule is Islamic rule. And for almost a century before Shivaji Maharaj then picked up the sword and laid down the foundation of Hindavi Swaraj, for a century the Bharatvarsha and Bharatiya Samskruti was facing existential threat and was on the verge of being annihilated from the face of history, like so many other civilizations have been thrown into the dustbin. And then, man, what a fight back. Here is a 16-year-old Shivaji Maharaj, guided, inspired, shown the path by his mother Jizau, who picks up commonest of the common people in the mountainous region of Sahyadris. These common people are called Mawla in Marathi, the soldiers. And at his age of 16, decided to establish Hindavi Swarajya. That is the term. It's not the rule of one clan, say Bhosles. Shivaji Maharaj and Maratha fight was not for just building one more kingdom in my name. Nothing regional, nothing casteist, nothing utterly sectarian about Shivaji Maharaj and history of Marathas. This is a fight for Bharatvarsha. The vision is defined in the word Hindavi Swarajya. Many historians of Marathas, some British, some Marxist, some nationalist and whatnot, they have described the term Hindavi Swarajya. What does it mean? So some historians have argued that the rule of Hindus, that Bharatvarsha is essentially Hindu, all encompassing and involving everyone. Some other historians have interpreted this to mean Hindavi means the native, etad deshiya, is desh ke logon ka. If you still go deeper about who are natives, then the cultural civilizational answer is very clear. Shivaji Maharaj set Maharashtra for the task of liberating entire Bharatvarsha. This is not a figment of imagination or not just a matter of interpretation. There are two original evidences in the contemporary records of history of Marathas where Shivaji Maharaj has explained his vision and its geographical extent. The brutal fanatic Sardar of Adil Shahi rulers at Bijapur, the Sardar is Afzal Khan, was dispatched to destroy Shivaji Maharaj and this upcoming Hindavi Swarajya. And as a political maneuver, Shivaji Maharaj agreed to meet him at Fort Pratapgarh. So a night before Shivaji Maharaj is to meet Afzal Khan, Shivaji Maharaj is sitting along with his trusted lieutenants. And of course, there is a plan to destroy Afzal Khan and launch a counter attack on Adil Shah from three fronts simultaneously. Military counter attack on Adil Shahi kingdom on three fronts simultaneously. So when this is being discussed a night before Shivaji Maharaj is to meet Afzal Khan, one of his trusted lieutenant, Rauji Somnath, asks Shivaji Maharaj, this is recorded in Maratha documents original. Rauji Somnath asked Shivaji Maharaj, how much are we to conquer? So our armies are to launch a counter attack on Adil Shahi and we have to go on conquering how much? Shivaji Maharaj answered that our task is to liberate. Actually, his words as translated into English would be, from that place where river Sindhu begins to flow, originates. From that place where river Sindhu originates to the entire ocean's Mahasagar. That is the statement by Shivaji Maharaj recorded in original Maratha records. That is the traditional description of Bharat Varsha, beginning with Vedas and through Puranas, that land south of Himalayas and north of the oceans is Bharat Varsha, and people living there are known as Bharati. That is the vision of Shivaji Maharaj, and it is with this vision that Marathas rose and fought for like over 150 years. There is this visionary leader in Shivaji Maharaj, followed by the history of Marathas. Shivaji Maharaj is a revolution in the history of Bharat. He is a great visionary leader with all India vision, deeply rooted in Bharatiya Sanskriti with clarity about what is Bharatiya Sanskriti as he picked it up from his mother through Ramayana and Mahabharata, and we are to fight to liberate this Bharatvarsha. He is also an all-encompassing revolution, because he is among the rarest of the rare leaders during medieval periods to build professional army which was paid regular salaries, not the feudal ones. Shivaji Maharaj is also that rarest of a rare ruler in medieval period where he actually abolished feudalism. The so-called historian Ramchandra Guha describes Shivaji Maharaj as a medieval feudal ruler, regional. Not one word of that is true. Just talking of period, yes, he belongs to the medieval period, but he is anything but regional, he is national. And he is anything but feudal. In fact, Shivaji Maharaj originally abolished all feudalism and all hereditary posts and turned them into the posts based on merit. He also gave outstanding, clean and efficient administration to the commonest of the common people. Shivaji Maharaj described Hindavi Swarajya as the kingdom of common people. I am not just playing with words. The original Marathi sentence happens to be Rajya Rayatecha Ahe. Rayat is common people. Not one person. The kingdom is not one person. Not one hereditary family. Not a divine rule. But it is for the people. And Shivaji Maharaj is saying this in 1646. In the history of the world, mind you, the modern nation-state system is supposed to be originated in the Treaty or Peace of Westphalia, which was signed between fighting European powers in 1648. That is considered the beginning of the modern nation-state system. Also, the early beginning of the concept that the kingdoms are not hereditary fief of particular king or dynasty, and the kings are not sort of representatives of the divine, but it is people who are the sovereign. The Western beginning is in 1648. Bharatiya beginning under the leadership of Shivaji Maharaj is 1646. And these are not just words. That is the quality of the administration he gave. Studied traditional Indian schools of administration, appointed an expert, Raghunath Panta Hanmante, and got a treatise developed that is called as Rajya Vyavahar Kosh, a whole manual of running administration deeply rooted in Bharatiya principles. He also went on issuing orders about running the state of affairs, which were later on properly collected as Ajna Patra. Each one Ajna Patra, a letter issued by Shivaji Maharaj, and the guidelines he is giving, each one is visionary. And one single Ajna Patra is worth like modern PhD, and the book on which will be like about 400 pages. And it is important for even modern day administration and statecraft. Shivaji Maharaj, as his colleagues, carefully studied the Vijayanagar Empire, mind you. Another eminent Maratha historian, Trambak Shankar Shezvalkar, has studied this issue of the statecraft established by Shivaji Maharaj and the one that Marathas followed, comes from Vijayanagar Empire, which of course was based on the whole political heritage of Bharatvarsha from Vedas to Vijayanagar Empire and then Shivaji Maharaj himself. Shivaji Maharaj is the only visionary leader of the medieval period who understood the importance of building navy. And he built navy, and the Maratha navy defeated every single naval power on the western sea coast of Bharatvarsha. Maratha navy defeated the British, the Dutch, the French, the Portuguese, and the list just goes on, Siddhis and Mughals. No wonder the root of even modern Indian Navy is considered in Shivaji Maharaj. And it's a happy thing that the insignia of our Navy was recently changed to include the 8-corner mudra, as it is called, of Shivaji Maharaj, the seal of Shivaji Maharaj on our naval seal. One needs to deeply study even the religious policy of Shivaji Maharaj. Proudly and happily Bharatiya, the cultural civilizational term of course is Hindu. So wherever Islamic tyrannical rulers were committing atrocities on common people, Shivaji Maharaj stood up and fought for those common people, opposed this Islamic tyrannical rule. Portuguese rulers in Goa were committing atrocities on common people in Goa and forcibly converting them to Christianity. Shivaji Maharaj wrote to the governor at Goa explaining Bharatiya position, that God is one and everyone is and should be free to worship that one God in whatever form you want. So why are you committing atrocities on common people? Shivaji Maharaj says, actually if you are the king, it's your kingdom, it is your people, how come you are committing atrocities on them? But the Portuguese rulers, infatuated with this dream of conquering the world for the emperor and for Christianity, they went on committing atrocities. Then Shivaji Maharaj taught them a lesson. He captured a couple of missionaries, put them in his jail, and then wrote to the Portuguese governor that if you continue atrocities on common people like this, okay, and force religion on them, then I will convert these missionaries to Hindus. Probably it is after this tit for tat that the Portuguese religious fanaticism was controlled. Islamic rulers also continued such religious fanaticism. Shivaji Maharaj laid down the principle of ghar wapsi, so to say. Those Hindus who under cruel torture and pressure were forcibly converted to Islam, Shivaji Maharaj also showed the path for them to come back to the all-encompassing Sahishnu and Sarva Samaveshak Hindu philosophy and approach, which is all-encompassing. Afzal Khan, while heading towards attacking Shivaji Maharaj, had Shivaji Maharaj's relative Bajaji Naik Nimbalkar, the brother of Shivaji Maharaj's wife. Bajaji Naik Nimbalkar was with Afzal Khan, but Afzal Khan arrested him and forcibly converted him to Islam. After Shivaji Maharaj utterly destroyed Afzal Khan, he ensured that Bajaji Naik Nimbalkar was brought back into Hindu fold. Shuddhikaran, or the modern Hindi sort of word established in all languages, is ghar wapsi. The right-hand person of Shivaji Maharaj, the military general, great, considered as a military leader, in contemporary times, he was considered as effective as Shivaji Maharaj himself. Netaji Palkar had a tiff with Shivaji Maharaj himself. So he left Shivaji Maharaj and joined Mughals. Aurangzeb, who some historians are projecting Aurangzeb as kind of some sort of secular ruler, that he was not fanatic, etc. This is distortion. Aurangzeb himself repeatedly talks in the name of Islam and is brutal in his spread of Islam. So Aurangzeb got Netaji Palkar arrested, brought over to Delhi, converted to Islam. Then he got the name Muhammad Quli Khan. Aurangzeb sent this Muhammad Quli Khan to Kabul, so as far away from Maharashtra as possible. And after 9 years, when Aurangzeb was sure that now Muhammad Quli Khan is Muhammad Quli Khan and he knows Shivaji and the Maratha warfare technique, so Aurangzeb sent him as the Mughal military general to take on Shivaji Maharaj. Netaji Palkar had not forgotten who he is. So from Burhanpur, he escaped, came to Fort Raigad and met Shivaji Maharaj and requested him to take back. Shivaji Maharaj underwent the requisite purification ceremony and got him back as Netaji Palkar, and in fact established marriage relationships with Netaji Palkar. Shivaji Maharaj is also a great social reformer. It won't be wrong or sort of exaggeration to say that he also fought against all kinds of caste prejudices and all. So with Shivaji Maharaj, this fight back of Bharatiya civilization begins. Shivaji Maharaj was a great inspiration during his own time also. So when Chhatrasal Bundela from Bundelkhand found his father hunted down by Aurangzeb, but he was listening to the stories of Shivaji Maharaj, he came all the way to Sahyadris, Maharashtra, met Shivaji Maharaj and got inspiration to go back, fight and establish the kingdom of Chhatrasal Bundela. A young boy, infatuated and attracted by the valor of Shivaji Maharaj, left Rajasthan, came to Maharashtra, met Shivaji Maharaj, and his poetic creativity flourished to come up with one of the greatest collections of poem in world literature, mind you, in medieval Hindi language, Shivraj Prashasti by Kaviraj Bhushan tells us about Shivaji Maharaj. This Kaviraj Bhushan happens to be from Rajasthan. During his own time also, Shivaji Maharaj carried the Maratha army to entire South India, established bases right up to south of Chennai, the place called Jinjis. This was to ensure that Marathas sooner or later will have to take on Mughals. Actually, unlike many historians later on who do not understand this all India vision of Shivaji Maharaj, unlike them, Aurangzeb himself had understood that the real threat to Mughals is from Shivaji Maharaj and Marathas. So after Shivaji Maharaj passed away, Aurangzeb descended on this Hindavi Swarajya to utterly crush it. This is a time when the Mughal Empire was at its apex. From absolutely Afghanistan to the borders of Assam, Mughals were never able to capture Assam. And absolutely from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, except this small part of Sahyadris, which was fighting back for Bharatvarsha. On that small patch, Aurangzeb descended with entire army, but could not defeat Marathas. He fought for 27 years and was a crushed old man, and finally died in 1707. Aurangzeb, with entire Mughal might, could not defeat Marathas for 27 years, but Marathas reached Delhi in 10 years after Aurangzeb died, and then stood for Bharatvarsha and fought for Bharatvarsha from like Atak to Katak. This awareness that we are fighting for entire Bharatvarsha is seen in Maratha records also, and contemporary, say, East India Company records. So when the sort of so-called traditional mainstream narrative of our history textbooks, okay, they tell us that Mughal Empire degenerated, and through its downfall, Marathas rose. It's a historically wrong description. Marathas brought down Mughals. In a recent fit of honesty, Shashi Tharoor, a thinking politician, he was asked which way India would have gone if the Britishers did not conquer India. Shashi Tharoor, in his own style, took his own time, and he said, then probably Marathas would have ruled India. So he is so close to understanding the truth of history. Marathas for Bharat. That is the vision of Shivaji Maharaj. Marathas brought down Mughals. And we are also told as if the Britishers conquered India from Mughals. Again, historically, objectively, wrong description. Britishers did not conquer India from Mughals. Britishers conquered India from Marathas. It's not I who is personally saying this. This is the British record that is saying, the original record that is saying. Through 18th century, at repeated places, Britishers and East India Company are noting this power called Marathas. While on their side, Marathas were very clear that we are fighting for sovereignty of Bharatvarsha. The British imperialist, the East India Company, their original record shows that even they were aware that until this force called Marathas is there, they won't be able to capture Bharatvarsha. So the vision of Shivaji Maharaj holds good even today. He continues to be a great inspiration even in modern times. So if it was a social reform movement against casteism to be undertaken by this great visionary couple Mahatma Phule and his wife Savitribai Phule, even they sought a role model in Shivaji Maharaj. There is a ballad on Shivaji Maharaj written by Mahatma Phule. Fort Raigad was in a neglected, dilapidated state. It was Mahatma Phule who also originally started Aarti at Fort Raigad. Later on, Lokmanya Tilak picked it up and turned it into a public festival of Shiva Jayanti. So Shivaji Maharaj as the role model to even give inspiration to Indians to fight for modern freedom, to even to fight against the Britishers. The Vanga Bhanga movement of 1905, Shivaji Maharaj was the role model. None other than, of course, Gurudev Tagore wrote a beautiful poem on Shivaji Maharaj. The title of the poem is Jayatu Shivaji. Then Shri Aurobindo, who himself was a revolutionary freedom fighter, later on turned into spiritual practitioner, now correctly called as Yogi Aurobindo, also wrote on the history of Shivaji Maharaj and Marathas as inspiring history. The anti-caste social movement in current Tamil Nadu, the movement that starts with, say, Periyar Ramaswamy Naikar, also saw Shivaji Maharaj as a role model of even social reform movement. A blue-eyed boy and visionary himself, the leader of Tamil movement, Annadurai, the disciple of Periyar Ramaswamy Naikar, wrote a drama on the life and times of Shivaji Maharaj. Shivaji Maharaj presented in that drama is social reformer Shivaji Maharaj. That drama was staged by the Tamil movement in Tamil Nadu. The role of Shivaji Maharaj performed by Tamil actor Ganeshan was performed to such a perfection that for rest of his life he got the name Shivaji Ganeshan. So Shivaji Maharaj, with his Bharatiya vision and his all-encompassing revolution, social, economic, administrative, navy, the taxation system created by Shivaji Maharaj, everything continues to be a role model for all of us, and the vision of one Bharatvarsha, standing tall, standing independent, and now performing its global role, is what we are to pick up from Shivaji Maharaj and history of Marathas. So of course, I salute and I bow down to Shivaji Maharaj, and let us all dedicate ourselves to work for Bharatvarsh, the Bharat Mata in the contemporary times. That would be the best celebration of 350 years of coronation of Shivaji Maharaj. All the very best. Bharat Mata ki Jai.